Hello, everyone, and welcome. And I'm Beth Lynch, medium and intuitive consultant, and I am holding a small group here this evening of 20 somethings, my favorite generation of all. I have been your age at once, by the way, and had a lot of fun in that decade. and definitely, what I want to be sharing with you this evening is just some things that I have learned along the way 30 something years later. Don't do the math. About understanding your decade. It's a very important time for you, and I have found that the not understanding exactly, who you are and why are you here, and those kind of questions that you may have posed in your deepest times, quietest times, whether anyone you had ever verbalized it to or not. So, well, basically understanding the spirit of life. And as a medium for 19 years, I've done a lot of communication with the other side, even for some of you here, so thank you. And I have learned a lot about life, about death, and a lot about everything in between because of it. So those of you here who have allowed me to channel for you, thank you for that trust and support over the years. So the intention of this video is actually to help you, help those who are going to view it later, to understand how to connect to this truth and understanding, keeping it pretty simple. And I often say it's kind of cool, actually. And as a human being, you want to be the best you can be. You want to be creative. You want to be happy. You want to express. You want to be in love, or at least know and feel love. You want all these things. And, there's some missing elements in, I think, in the, not so much would I ever say how we're raised or how you're raised or how any of us are raised, but it's just like what is important to help you? What is it that can help you? And what I have found, along the way is in being your age, but even fast forwarding before that, in my very young, maybe 6 or 7 years old, just looking up and asking God why I was here. I didn't feel I fit in. I didn't feel I belonged, and I didn't from a very young age. I thought I was different. Anybody feel that way? That wants to raise their hand, go right ahead. And so, you find a place for that, and you put it somewhere, and you tuck it away, but it never really goes away. And some of those questions are very important, and a lot of times, when you are going to face the truth of those questions is when you lose a loved one, okay? When someone you love and care for passes away. We are actually forced to step and look into the real reason we are here and who we are. And again, if you hadn't already gotten to that thought or that question, that's fine too. There's well, first let's understand our spiritual nature. The spirit. What is the spirit? And you have to look at it like, I love this guy, Mr. Nikola Tesla. Anybody know who he is? See, the camera can't see you, so you can really... he is actually, well, what did they say? Edison didn't care for him much because he had his viewpoints and ideas. Yes, absolutely. And one of his quotes, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, that you must think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. That is what we are in our true spiritual nature, our energy system. And we are a human being also. And every thought and every emotion we have has a frequency and a vibration. Now we have this beautiful system called the spiritual system. Many people have heard the terms aura. Our aura, the aura vibrates. It resonates and is seen and felt and experienced through color and sound, but it's moved through emotion. So when we understand our spiritual nature, that is our spirit. It is our energy system. It is the system that is eternal. And then there's this beautiful personality that's going to use this physical body to go through all these things. Well, a lot of people hear the term ego. I don't overuse the term ego. Ego is ego. It's always going to be there to teach us and to try to humble us and sometimes confuse us. And that's okay, because part of the human experience is finding our way to that, all right? But the one aspect you have to understand is you are a spiritual and you are a human being. And the separation of these two can no longer, your generation more than any, cannot be separate from it. All right, I mean, I'm 56, so I went, there's none of us really going through different things. We gotta get this deck of cards when we come down here, this deck of cards. Okay, I got this. I got every hand in it. We get down here and it's like, the house of cards falls in front of us. So we now have to go through all these emotions to kind of get this house of cards up. And it's an interesting metaphor because I've never used it before, so I find it interesting to be coming in. But what does a house represent? Our sense of security, our foundation in our life, and who we are. So now we have this, house of cards, and it's all over the place. And, think about when you try to build a house of cards. It's not that easy, is it? It's fragile. It falls. And again, I can't stress enough how I like this metaphor. I've never used it before, so it's actually coming to me as I speak with you guys as a group. So the first thing you have to do is understand that everything, if you take that quote and get into the feeling of what he really meant when he was saying that, when you want the secrets of the universe, you are here in this universal experience. You are one with a universe. We've all heard these terms. I think they're thrown around a lot, and sometimes we don't really get what we're saying. Karma. The first thing we think when karma is bad, because, they're going to have karma. They get karma. Karma is actually good. We want some good karma, too. Everything we think and feel is magnetic. Everything is going to be pulled toward us, pushed away, or held still by the perception of our life, by the vibration that we are putting out in the perception. So when you start to understand these simple little ways of looking at your life and who you are and why you are where you here, what made you come? It took a lot to come here tonight. I can't even put it into words, how I feel about you all showing up tonight for this. And grateful is one of them. So again, just getting back to the simplicity of you're a spiritual / energy being, and you are a human being. The spirit, the soul level wants to come here and express. It wants to be creative. It wants to be in the energy of love. Guess what the spirit doesn't need? It doesn't need to be loved. Doesn't need it. It already knows it. It is. It's a feeling within. Okay? So it doesn't need. So it is creative, the spirit. The most creative expression you can have. It's not worried about what you got to do or want to do. It wants to just express it to its highest vibration possible. And when you're doing that, it makes you smile. It makes you feel good. It makes you have a sense of confidence that no human being will ever give you in this life, but no human being can ever take away. And that is a powerful place to be in your life, because now you separate from the need. So I'm kind of rolling into relationships. It is one of the things that was on my little list to talk about. And, there's one relationship that's always going to be the most important, and that is the one that you have with your spiritual nature. If you leave here with nothing else tonight, or anyone listening leaves with this understanding that you are a spiritual and a human being, you are here to be creative, you are here to feel or be in the energy of love, to be love. You are here to, again, express that. We have to be able to flow in any relationship we're in our highest expression possible. We have to be able to express, create. We have to be able to heal. And let's go before heal, let's go communicate. Communicate from a higher place. That place that is that higher self that actually says, it's okay. It's okay if we're in our moment of greatest love, and it's okay if we're looking at each other and it's not working. It's okay. Because when you are in your true spiritual nature, you will not need another person. You would not want another person to need you, because that's a false sense of love. It's a needy love. And anyone sitting here, and I bet every single one of you at least have had one, where a needy love broke. And so did your heart. Or you might have broken a heart. It goes both ways. At some point in life, you'll be on both ends of it, and neither end is fun. Neither end is, where you want to be. Nobody wants to really hurt anybody, and nobody wants to be hurt. So the one thing to understand is the more you are connected to the spiritual nature, which I would like to add is your natural nature, because you do not come into this physical existence without being energy first, without being a true consciousness, without being a spirit. Okay? And that's why when many of you have come to me, you've come to talk to the spirit of one of your loved ones. That's who you wanted to reach. So, and don't they bring in some very physical things about themselves, some traits, some quotes, some ways of looking at things? Absolutely they do, because how else are you going to recognize them? So what they show us is that it is going to continue, that life is eternal. And when you flow with an understanding and you wake up every morning and know you're in eternal life, it sets something off in you that's different than if you're someone who never asks it or never did or feared it, avoided it. And again, coming back to why most people come to me, you want to talk to the other side. You want to feel eternal life. Are they eternal? Are they okay? So, and I'm sure they're in this room. There's nobody who up there, they hang around me all the time. But they hang around you. Your people aren't following me all the time, by the way. Let's get that straight. But they are here with you because you are here. Because you know what? Some of those people crossed over not so smart. Okay? They didn't get it. They didn't understand those questions. They moved away. They weren't connected to their spiritual nature. And I can tell you, all of you sitting here are probably more than you know. Or you wouldn't be able to be in this room right now. And even if you do feel a little anxiousness, it's not uncommon to come into a high vibrational experience, whether it's a channeling, a conversation, and feel a little anxiousness. So if you are having any of that, and maybe somebody is, and that's why I'm feeling to say this, maybe somebody who's going to be listening to this is going, I can't watch this anymore, and yeah, just hold on a minute. Take some slow breaths. Actually, I always say go right to your lower belly with your awareness. Tell it to relax in your mind's eye. Take a few slow breaths and let that area relax, because that's your emotional energy doorway. And there's a lot of emotion passing through there, and it does get tighter. And that's something you can also take with you today as a little trick to use if you find yourself getting anxious, or if you find yourself getting a little, just in a mood or whatever. Have them. You got to have them. You're a human being. But know that you have your spirit always there for you. That creative expression of who you are, that part of you that can cope with anything. And it brings me into the next issue, or topic, I should say. The spiritual nature, or the pure energy form of who you are, whatever way you feel more comfortable looking at it, it is your coping place. It's how you're going to cope with your emotions. So if you are going to be suppressing emotion, you're suppressing your spirit's ability to express and create through you. And that stifles you. And that moves you away from your source or your spirit. And that messes with your nervous system. And that causes sadness. And that sadness can go into depths of lower frequency, which would be where our depression is, which would be where our addiction area is. And I don't think there's a person in here who hasn't felt addiction on some level. I know I have. I've experienced it. Or you have someone near you that you love very much that did. It's part of the human experience, but it's not one you have to stay in. What most people don't realize about addiction, it's actually a frequency. It's a vibration. And if in treatment and in healing, they allowed you and taught you to come out of the vibration of addiction, you would actually set yourself free from it in probably record time. It really is. It's the missing element in a lot of treatment. And the reason I know that is so many people are brought to me now using meditation to assist them in treatments. Therapists sending me their people. That's not what I signed up for when I thought I was going to be a medium. Trust me. I was, bringing grandma in and, things like that. It was a little simpler back in the day, but it has evolved because the human species has evolved. And you guys, your frequencies are so high. Your vibrations, you came in highly sensitive to vibration and emotion. You came in so sensitive to it that it kind of overwhelmed you. And I don't think that everybody that, brought us all in really knew what to do with us to teach us this, to teach us how to understand. Why are we so fast-paced? Why are we energetic, so energetic? And I was doing that 55 years ago, so imagine that, you guys. You only got about 20 back, if that. Mm-hmm.
Do you find that technology, such as like laptops, cell phones, and stuff like that, actually alters like the vibrations or puts a halt to them, or does it lower or bring you up? Like, because I know technology is such a huge part of our world nowadays. Mm-hmm. How is that affecting our spirit?
That is such a good question. And you know what the answer is? How are you using it? A lot of times. One time when I was, and I can tell you exactly when it was when we were going into Iraq, and obviously we've been there a while. And I was meditating, and I just said, here we go again. I don't have a better solution, but why are we here again? This is going to be generations, generations. This is not in and out, and we're leaving there. I knew that. And I literally felt like my cells hurt in my body that few days when all that was happening and we were going in. And so I put it out there in my meditative thoughts, but also just in thought. Why again? Here we go. God, I could just feel what was going to happen. I didn't know exactly, but I knew it didn't feel good. And about 24 hours later, I was washing the dishes. And one thing you'll find, and we're going to tap into that a little bit about how meditation can help you in your life. Because when you do meditate, you open yourself up to a higher understanding of voice, of intelligence, and of love that's out there. So all of a sudden, I'm washing the dishes, and water's an interesting time, because water, when you're touching water, you're a conduit. There we go, Tesla again, There it is, the word you used, which I like how you put it, but I can't comprehend that. I got all the titles, trust me. But when you meditate, everything balances. And I was washing the dishes, just not thinking about anything, and I heard this voice say, "You have evolved as a species technically, but not spiritually." And I went, "What was that?" I knew it wasn't my thoughts, and I went, "Oh my God, my thoughts I put out." And then I heard, "As long as there is war in the soul, there will be war on earth." And I went, "Oh, well, that's not making me feel much better." But I get it. I knew what I was hearing. I knew it was an answer to my question. And it repeated itself. You've evolved as a species technically, but not spiritually. So it is here to help us. On many levels, it's here to help us. And if we use it for a higher good, and we don't absorb into it to a point of, that level of there's nothing else, like you got to get off the video game after a certain time, anything too long is not healthy, for us. So, but I also remember in that moment of hearing those words, those quotes come in very clearly. I remember saying like, well, it doesn't make me feel much better, but I get it. I got it. And then I heard that is what Earth is for. And it made me that brought me an eerie sense of peace. It's like, wow, okay, I get it. Now I feel it. And that's what it's about. Technology, whether you're tuning into a Periscope meditation, listening to a meditation, reading some inspiration online, coming across something by chance that brings an answer to you, whether it's a spiritually minded thing or something, what car you want to look for, you know what I mean? And that's the car, that's it, It honestly doesn't matter. There's no right. It's used for all of the above, And so it is a very good question, because if we respect it and honor that it comes from a higher intelligence, and we will respect it if we do look at it that way, it's amazing where it can bring us. We can do world peace meditations and world peace things. People sometimes want to, if you watch on Facebook, poo-poo that. But you know what? That's energy. And we're holding frequency. And to me, it's a little scary to think where the world would be if we didn't have people holding vibration like this and putting prayer. Who holds you up when you lose a loved one? Prayer from friends. Prayer from people. A lot of times that don't even know you in your communities. That's holding you up a lot of times. That's energy going your way in a higher frequency. Because when you're in grief and when you're in fear and when you're in anger and sadness, you're in a low frequency. And guess what? That's where you're expressing from. And that's how it works. And we're not going to change that law of attraction. That's a universal law. That's the laws of magnetics. It's science. It's spirit. It's traditional. Getting into traditionalism a little bit, whether you believe it's God or Jesus or Buddha or whatever, dogma you follow, it's still talking about a higher source of intelligence that is filled with love and very much compassion and wants that. Because from your true spiritual nature, that is who you are. That is what you want to express. And if you want to do that flipping a burger at McDonald's, or if you want to do that being a CEO or horse trainer. Who works with horses in here? Somebody? Why am I getting horses? I don't think to say that. Well, they're in the room. If you want to do that serving your country, being a medium, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how you're going to do it. But know that you are here to express from that most creative space. So it's not what's right or what's wrong. That's another thing. Taking that out of your equations and a lot of your decision making. Watch where you overdo that. Right and wrong. Right is high frequency. Wrong is low frequency. Okay, so if you just kind of go, well, how do I look at this? I want to do the right thing. No. That said, I want to be in my higher expression. or my more divine expression. I love the word divine. It's a very high frequency word, one of the highest frequency words next to love, or light, or oneness, or God. So if you use the word divine in front of anything you think you need, you are immediately raising the vibration of it. And it takes you out of need, and now you're resonating in that frequency. And now you're drawing that to you. Because if you're down here in your thoughts and feelings, you're drawing that to you. Low frequency experiences, low frequency perception. That goes into your home. That goes into your workplace. A great way to, and it was kind of another topic I was going to talk about is like work and career. There's no right or wrong one. There just isn't. There's ones that will make you, are you in your highest expression? I always say too at your age when I'm doing more intuitive counseling for someone your age, it's not, you got to pick the right one right now. You don't know really in 10 years if something, all those steps you take in that is going to make you go, oh, but I want that, and that just opens you up to something completely different. All the things you experience are still going to be bringing you there. That's what's beautiful. If you walk in that perception, you're not going to worry. Oh no, I got to do that for the rest of my life. No, that's an awful long way to look at things. I don't know about you guys, but I was working at Burger King with those funky little orange and yellow hats. I think I would have just, I don't know what if I thought I had to do that the rest of my whole life. But there's nothing wrong with it. They don't wear the hats now, so it's not so bad. But we had to wear these big old hats. And but that also was, I went there and I was excited. I loved every French fry I flipped. I loved using those. I just felt it was important. It was giving me something every week to allow me to go do things I could. It's somewhere to start, So don't be so hard on yourselves if you feel you're at that, what am I going to do, and I don't know what I want to do. But start saying every day, I am open to the divine possibilities. Use that mantra if you're sitting here wondering, what am I going to do with my life? I don't know, And if you could be feeling that, could be pulling the cord right now on you. Oh my God, yes, I want to know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, But I do know that every day I'm going to wake up and be in a divine expression of who I am as a spiritual and a human being. And nobody can give me that, and nobody can take it away. And what I would have done to know that in my 20s, oh my God, would have been wonderful. But I didn't. And that's okay too. But actually, as far as work goes for myself, I was a hairdresser 20 years. I can do hair too, But don't ask me. There's no time for that. So I was in my expression. And this, a lot of experiences that I went through that made me start understanding, all right, all those things I've seen my whole life, all those feelings I've got, those overwhelming feelings, and some of you sitting here may have had them too. I know some of you have. That is natural. How you're going to allow that to be in your life or not is more important than anything. Are you going to let it enter you and, pull you down and bring you in, keep low vibrational patterns of thought going? Or are you going to, shift it if you are having them? And just say, okay, I am going to be in my divine expression. And if you're not comfortable with the word divine, use the word highest. Same vibration. Not going to matter, You gotta be comfortable with your thoughts and your affirmations that you're going to put out. And that helps things get moving for you. And that starts bringing higher possibilities for you, higher opportunities that are going to be there for you in your journey when it's time to change or shift or open to a career, or what am I going to do? 90% of your choices, if not 95, do not have to become challenges. Challenges are when you're stuck and not making decisions, or you're making decisions in very low frequency and blaming everybody else. Sometimes we got to look back in our life and go, oh, they tried. It's okay. Find that place of peace in some things that you may look back at, whether it's a relationship, an upbringing, it doesn't matter. Saying it doesn't matter isn't diminishing the importance of it in your life. It's meaning energy doesn't care what relationship it's talking about. Is it talking about the relationship you're having with yourself, your higher self, your finances, your parents, your ex? It doesn't matter. It's going to respond all the same way. So you can take this little formula and put it in everything, where you've been in your life and where you are going. But first of all, you got to bring it into where you are. And that starts shifting things a lot. Just dealing with being happy. And what I find a lot with your age group is I just want to feel happy. I'm not happy. The answer is going to be, again, you've got to understand your energy system or your spiritual nature, whatever word you want to use, to be happy as a human being. Give yourself that gift, if nothing else, so you can flow in a divine expression and you can let happiness be there for you. Nobody can give it to you. Another human being, it's not possible. And honestly, the closest you'll get is your own child when you're all in that situation someday. Do you have children yet? Yeah. How old?
Well, we have 2 angel babies,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a 5-month-old.
Oh. And those little angel babies are going to watch over that little 5-month-old like making noise. I can feel it already. Oh. Do you have Donald's Journey? Oh, I have to send you that. You have to get Donald's Journey meditation and play that. Lifesaver. We'll talk about it after. But it actually came to me when I was 3 months pregnant with my son. And I was already into meditation at that point. And then I went through this little experience as a child, looking at a tree. And then what it does is balance the chakras. It's a good time to bring it up, I guess. The spiritual energy system. When that system is in balance, the nervous system is running at its highest capacity, which will diminish your anxiety. If anyone sits here and has anxiety, I can't imagine somebody doesn't in this room, because there's so much of that. You don't have to accept anxiety, by the way. There's so many in all ages with this. I get anxiety all the time. Well, I'll just invite it for dinner. I mean, no. Start saying that's a perception. That's one of these perceptions that I hear so much in this room. And okay, and do you not want to have it? No, who wants it? Then quit saying it's yours. You guys, I have seen a tumor shrink in one healing. In a healing where there was prayer and high intention to bring peace to a person to cope with the situation of cancer. And miracles are there. They're there. And I've seen them. I've been in them. When a doctor can't explain why a tumor the size of a baseball is gone in a lung in 3 days, that's a miracle. Because in a divine experience, in a healing, you are in a highest frequency possible that you can be in. And that cancer, anxiety, addiction, the lowest forms of depression and bipolar cannot live in a higher frequency body. So before you start claiming all these things, take a deep breath and know you don't have to anymore. And start letting your plug into your spiritual nature. Start doing the work for you. That's what this is about. You don't have to claim a lot of these titles and things. I'm not diminishing them. I have complete respect for the community and the medical community that has to do this. But I've watched too many miracles happen on people who start mediating between their spiritual nature and their personality. I have seen the miracles in matter of, in one case, an hour. But usually within a few days. There is a difference in you because your energy system shifts into a higher frequency, and it allows you to start expressing immediately from that vibration. This is not do it 6 months, maybe it'll work. It's not. This is devote to 10 minutes of meditation a day. 5 in the morning, 5 at night if you want, and watch things start shifting, because you will sit back and feel the power of love and the power of a miracle. I can guarantee it because I've experienced it for too many, and I've had to live it myself before I could actually sit here and be this passionate about it. Where did my changes start? When I started applying things, when I got introduced to meditation. Oh, I can't do that. I tried for 2 years. Are you kidding me? I couldn't do it. I can't stop thinking. Guess what? You don't stop thinking. Because you're a human being and you think and you feel, and you cannot get in the way of that. You have to allow the flow of thought and emotion. But every emotion flowing through your nervous system is run by your perception of life and how you're going to think. And nothing is going to change how that works. Because there, again, is your magnetic system. And that law of attraction will work for you. So, again, Mr. Tesla, that's the secret. That's the secret to being happy. That's a secret to letting a lot of the choices you have and things you're looking at right now in your mind's eye and maybe hoping tonight they were going to get answered for you. That's the secret of it not being a challenge anymore and raising in frequency to choice, or at least to divine possibility. I love the mantra divine possibilities. When there's the cloud in front of you and you don't know, you really can't see past it. Sorry, Beth, not working. Then wake up and any chance you get through the day, take a deep breath and say, divine possibilities. I accept them. Divine possibilities. And I'd be surprised if in 3 days you didn't have something you'd be going, holy crap. Can we curse on YouTube? There might be a special station for that, I don't know. Yeah, so, try it, you guys. I'd love to do a meditation with you. But before I do that, and I lose your attention, because I know how you 20-somethings are. I'm still one kind of in heart and soul. Questions, thoughts, anything you're sitting there that you want me to bring up that, didn't get addressed?
Medications.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, you had to go there, didn't you?
I did.
No.
I
Yeah, it's
really
okay.
did. I've noticed a lot, like, especially now with, like, people that are my age, they're going to college, but they're also taking prescription drugs such as like your Adderall, your Concertas, and stuff like that. And I guess I'm I notice a lot of things, and I've noticed like how it changes people. Like it makes them almost like in a zombie state of mind, and just very different to, like it's almost like they're out of touch with their sense of self.
Yeah.
And I know for my own experiences that when I was on those medications, I had it was almost like I was living in a dream, because it was just constantly, you focused on just anything. So, like, what are your thoughts about that? And, like, is there any other possibilities, like maybe, like, meditation or stuff like that you can use to not use prescription drugs that are approved by the,
Oh, and they are approved. All right, so first let me address this. One, because of how many people I know in the spirit world and how many parents, families, spouses, children I've had to look in the eyes of living and their loved ones in spirit are there because of prescription meds. First of all, to understand I'm not against them when they are used to help someone through a situation or a sequence in their life, because at times they can raise frequency. But when you've sat in my chair and had to do what I've had to do for over 12 years now, and talk to all these young people in the spirit world, and here, I wasn't in my body. I watched myself do it. It wasn't me. I saw myself do that. I wouldn't do that, Mom. I've heard this, there's no number anymore, in the last 12 years. And it started about 12 years ago when I started getting it. And the way to understand it, and there is a very in-depth article on my website, by the way, for anyone who wants to go over and look at it. And some of you, I may have already done that. What these medications do is, first of all, when I would start channeling, the first thing I would see was a flat line. We all know what a flat line is. Nobody really wants to see one of those going across, near them. And then I would see a Picasso painting, like a Picasso face, when he was abstract. And right when I would see that, after a period of probably 6 months of first getting it, I was like, wait a minute. Every time I see that, I end up having a prescription medication suicide or overdose. Every time. Never did I have to, I would say it very cautiously, obviously, because I was a little nervous bringing this in. I feel that there's someone in spirit who may have a sense of responsibility to taking their own life. And then the tears would start, and then the other visions would start to be the more physical evidence, if you will, for them. So, and always then the messages of, wasn't me, I was out of my body, I heard the voice. So that continued on for a long time. And then what the flat line meant, clearly, it speaks for itself. But the Picasso I didn't get. And I honestly didn't learn about the Picasso until about 4 years ago, when a friend of mine who's a teacher, we were at her house talking about this, and I said, I get the flat line, but I never really got the Picasso. Like, why Picasso's artwork? I mean, and what they would explain to me in the spirit world is, when you see a Picasso painting and it's abstract, and the nose is over here, and the eyes down here, and the mouth's up here, it's very abstract. Well, they would say that what they felt was, if they looked at it, like we would go, oh yeah, eyes, nose, ears, mouth. They would look at it and go, like, that don't make sense. And it hurt, like literally hurt the brain. or really the mind, I should say. So that happened for a long time. Now they don't really show me that often anymore. That they just really just started off. But then the voice. And if you remember, if you read any of Robin Williams' interviews or listened, he used to speak of a lower power voice that would come up and tell him to do things like drink or go back to a drug or something. And he spoke of this often. Well, Robin Williams was definitely an alcoholic in his early 20s, and he spoke of that, and the young comedian coming up and all that pressure of Hollywood and all that. And you see a lot on Hollywood. You see a lot on, look on Hollywood. Watch the E channel or something. It's on there. And they would. He was on prescription meds for about 20 years. But toward the end, I think if they start messing with how many you're on and different frequencies of them, the pills themselves have a lower vibration than the spiritual system. And what happens with these medications, it starts plummeting you down in frequency, down to the very lowest vibration, which is evil, which evil is the lowest form of human expression possible to oneself or another. So, that's vibrationally what happens with the medication. So you can't be telling us as a species that there is this many beautiful little babies born in this world mentally ill. It's not the way it is. We've created a mentally ill society when you get really looking at it. So we are going to deal with those consequences now. We are, absolutely. And until they start putting that into therapy and stuff, there will probably always be problems, but also, or challenges. I'd rather use the word challenges. But to understand it, whether it's you, someone you know, someone you care about, you add this now and you have an understanding. You're carrying this wisdom. That's very important for your generation. Because you know what? The kids under you, if you have younger brothers and sisters, or cousins coming up, or your own children, each generation is more sensitive to the frequency of their spiritual nature than the one before them. That's why you guys are so emotional, so highly sensitive. That's why you feel things on a whole nother level. Your intuitive nature, and if I had forgotten this, I would have been very angry at myself. Your intuitive nature is in your spirit. Your intuition, that voice that guides you from that higher place. That is the nature that cannot be suppressed to the level of frequency these medications are doing. Because the personality gets further and further away. And that's exactly what you said you felt about them. Yes, Adderall is one of them. Absolutely, and it's the most one that people don't think it is. It is. It's a low frequency. It drops the frequency.
Well, I think that's why people, take them with such just carelessness, is because it's prescribed by a doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it saddens me to see how much is prescribed. Like I said, I'm always for it if it's helping someone and it keeps their frequency up. But in the meantime, incorporate meditation, because meditation will raise your frequency. If you do 2 to 3 minutes of, remember I said just bring your awareness to your lower belly? Go there right now. Talking about this issue could make somebody tense. I know that. I see it all the time. Just go there, breathe, loosen it up in there, just like, oh my God, relax my stomach muscles. You'd be very surprised with that area getting loose. That's your emotional area. If you want to talk energy system, that's the chakra that is the emotional center in the lower belly, and it is your addiction center. And what most people don't realize about addiction, that it actually forms between the ages of 6 and 12. Believe it or not. Because that's where you're coping with your emotions the most. And not to pick on anybody's parents, but come on, parents are working, they're trying, they're doing. Whatever you go through in that age frame is very much a part of how you're going to process emotionally as you go up the scale of the energy doorways. You can look at the little picture out there and it shows them. That could be a whole nother class. So it's a good question, but basically if you incorporate meditation, which will keep your frequency high, even if you are on medication, that'll at least bring you up into the safe zone, keep you there as you're going through, keep the practice going, and always wean with doctor supervision. I had a 28-year-old, no, she was 26, in here not long ago, and she's looking right through me, and she was just shaking, and I knew immediately she had medication. She was here with her mother, raising a 2-year-old. She was on 17 meds in one day. Since she was 8 years old, she had been on meds. She had never been off, and she'd always been at least 5, I was told. Her energy system, she couldn't even function. And I know, it was the saddest thing I saw. So we talked about meditation, but I thought, how can a doctor, sorry, I'm not picking on doctors, because I have dear friends that are doctors. I have doctors sending me clients all the time to help a kid for meditation. Add meditation. I don't know how to do it. Can you suggest this? Yeah, absolutely. You know I'll do that. And my website, again, has a whole meditation corner. Yeah, imagine someone that young on that much and raising a child. That was very, that's not an isolated thing. It's out there. It's out there. So, and again, the more you know about it, it actually can help you. So if you are someone who has to take it, just look at it and say, I don't need you. Just still follow your rules till you wean with your doctor. But just when you take it, look at it and say, I don't need you. You're energetically weaning. You'll know the day you can call your doctor and say, I'm done. I'm ready. Help me. And that's the best thing. You don't have to oh no, I'm on now. I gotta, well, no, she said all that stuff about it. No, it's not what this is about. This is about educating you on it because it's out there. And now I get so many people that are coming to me before. I can't tell you how many people come and they have prescriptions in their purse ready to get filled. But they got to me first. Someone got them to me. You think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. I'm not feeling it now. I don't need it. Because you don't need it. In most cases. But there are 2% that need it to get their frequency in balance for whatever the reasons are. Depression, anxiety, addictions. There's reasons. But you have to look at it like you will not need it forever. And that will be the best gift you give yourself. Or a friend that you know that may be struggling. Hey, I know there's people up there I've channeled that they didn't know. They didn't know this. And if there's someone in here that you know your loved one is up there that dealt with it, you know that you're here probably because of them. That they pushed you in some way. So good questions. You opened up a very big door. But again, there is more on my website on that under Thoughts and Inspiration. Feel free to read it. Send me any questions. I will gladly answer it for you. And we have every 4th Tuesday here a free night of healing and meditation. And I know some of you have been to it, and it is very healing, and it is enlightening and powerful for your energy system. And sometimes it's just enough to set you off and get you going, and then you continue at home and do it. But it's here every month if you want it, and every 3rd Wednesday as well. That's we just crash all over the place on the 3rd Wednesday. And I guide you into meditation. You can bring your blanket and your pillow if you want. I don't care. But the hands-on healing on the 4th Tuesday is meditation with hands-on healing as well. But they're really both doing the same thing. So it's neat. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
And I always say if you got somebody you're concerned about or worried about, turn them on to the article. Mm-hmm. Look what it does. And I lived it. I did live it, one experience. I had one experience when I was 29. I was living in California. I was struggling with, do I move back? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I didn't know these things. And I was really probably in a couple months of real struggle. I am highly sensitive to having aspirin in my body, and I always have been. I went to the ER with hyperventilating and all this stuff happening to me. I didn't know what it was. So I went to the ER, they gave me a little pill, put on my tongue to get me relaxed, and I did, obviously, and got relaxed and stopped breathing in a brown bag, and okay, no recreational drugs were in my body, so they like that, Basically here, you're fine, you're having an anxiety attack. I'm like, what's that? I didn't even know what that was then. 29 years old, don't do the math. And again, and I went, and really, my personal experience probably says it all. I went and had my little pills. I took another one at night, like they said, one in the morning, one at night, and then get your prescription filled, and we'll see you in a month. I'm like, if I'm going to be here in a month, I knew in 2 days. I knew the next day I'm moving back. What am I thinking here? I can't be here anymore. California's beautiful, but I don't want to live here. The earth shakes. It's crazy. I was there, but the bottom line, what happened was I took my pill at night, and I did not like how I felt. And I remember I felt like weird. That's how I described it. It was weird. I felt weird, and so the next morning I didn't take it. No, the next morning I did. So I had 3 pills in my system. I had one from the ER, one at bedtime, one in the morning. I really felt weird that afternoon. I said, what is in that stuff? I threw it out. You know, I ain't taking that stuff. And threw it out. The next day, so about 24 hours later, I'm in my apartment, and I remember I got that feeling again, like, I feel weird. I didn't take that stuff since yesterday morning. Nah, it's probably not. I just felt weird. And all of a sudden, I saw myself walk across the room. Twice. Here's me. Beep. Can't say the word. And I heard the voice say, get your gun and blow your head off. And I had a loaded gun. I used to go shooting, target practice. And I'm like, what? And I heard it again. Yelled at me, get your gun and blow your head off. And I went, beep you. I don't want to die. Who the hell is saying that to me, you know? I had one of those, and I called my girlfriend. I said, you need to get down to my apartment right now, get my gun out of my house. Something weird's happening. And she only lived a few doors down. She came flying over, got my gun out. By that time, I had heard the voice 3 times. But I also started praying. And I always would have the Our Father. That was my go-to prayer as a little girl. I was raised Catholic. And so whenever I would see mean faces and be overwhelmed by things in my journey, I would say the Our Father, and everything would always be okay. Because little did I know, the prayer was raising my frequency. Didn't know that about prayer. I do now. Now you do. Prayer raises vibration. So I raised my vibration enough for the voice to go away. The means to make that happen got out of the house. And my girlfriend came back and said, what is wrong with you? And I said, nothing. I said, but somebody is telling me these words that I don't want to. What is that? And then she said, what happened when you went to ER? And I said, I don't know. They gave me some shit. I threw that out. Oh, no, you can't do that. And it was Olaf. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And back then, they probably put you on a higher dose than they do now, because I know now they know a little bit more about it. But, yeah, that was what it was. So I never obviously took that again, ever. But, you know, until I started channeling, and it was well into having these experiences with so many of these young people, because most of the time back then they were young, anywhere from 15 to 25 usually. Now it's all ages. I have elderly spouses coming in with their spouse took their own life. Now, yeah, it's all ages now. It's beyond. It's not even just teen, you know, it's past all borders, all walks of life. And, yeah, and I remember this young kid was talking to his mom, and he had said a bunch of information, and she knew he was in the room. And then he said, Mom, it was the voice. The voice made me do it. It wasn't me. And I remember that hit me like, oh my God, the voice. Mm-hmm. I knew the voice. And that was the moment I realized, I lived this. Maybe that's why I had to live it. I don't know. So I lived it personally, and I know the voice. And I'll never forget when I watched Robin Williams or saw his interview where he said those words. I was like, oh my God, that voice is so real. And it's basically, like he explains it, the lower power voice. So in your lower frequency of expression, there's this inner voice that speaks to you. Schizophrenia is very real. There's a voice. But in a higher frequency, that is not the voice that can really do you wouldn't listen to it. You wouldn't be able to have that voice in a higher expression. You know, if you're going to have thoughts like that, you have them, but you know what to do with them. You rationalize them. You clear them. When you're in that low frequency, that's a very hard thing to do. So, you opened a big door there, man. Anything you want to ask or put out?
No.
Okay. Anything? I see bubbles all around you for some reason, like those kind. Been blowing bubbles lately?
Oh, well, I did last weekend. Those for wedding.
Well, obviously you weren't
I
at that.
forgot about that.
Yeah, obviously you weren't at that wedding alone.
No, they did a little bubble walkthrough after they were married.
See? So, I imagine your brother and then some were hanging out with you, because that's why I would see it.
It was a good party, probably.
Yeah. And it's nice to know the spirit world is listening. Many of them are probably learning as we are speaking. Anything you'd like to ask, Ellie?
No.
No? How about you, Bob? Good? Anything you want to ask or say? Okay, you're a quiet group. Of course, I did a lot of talking, I know. Anything you want to say?
No, I'm good, thank you.
How about you? Yeah. I see a German Shepherd in the room. Who had a German Shepherd from the spirit world? Looks like we're getting a little activity. Anybody have a shepherd?
I have one.
It's living though.
Yeah.
Anybody have one in spirit? Yours is alive too? We got a dead one, guys. That's all I'm going to say. I can say that I see a message for you from your friend, and I hear, I want to word this the way I hear it. You're doing the right thing, man. You're doing the right thing. So whatever you're doing, you know, you're getting that. And he also says, I owe you. So hopefully that brings you some peace. Thank you. So I would like to do a little meditation with you guys. I'll just keep it a few minutes. For any of you who haven't meditated, it's a very simple thing. You'll just close your eyes and follow along. And then we'll close up. And unless any questions come up from the meditation, you're free to go. But let's meditate first. So let's uncross our legs. Keep it very simple. Basically, through meditation, we're doing a mediation between what we think and what we feel. We close our eyes, and as we close our eyes, we allow our nervous system to receive the signal that it's okay. It's time to relax. And I just want you to bring your awareness into your breath, the flow of your breath. You're breathing up through the nose and behind the eyes. Just this little area staying there with your awareness. And if you're having moments of busy thought, just inhale silently to 4. And exhale silently to 6. And you're going to let your next inhale go to 6 and your exhale to 8. Slow it down wherever you are, the numbers. And now just let your awareness just follow your breath up behind the eyes, the forehead, the very crown of your head, and you're just giving these areas permission to relax for a moment, slowing the breath down wherever you are. Let your awareness flow down into the cheekbones, the jawline, down into the muscles of your neck, and over your shoulders. Nice slow breath. Exhaling down through your arms, into your hands, to your fingers and fingertips. And the lines of your fingerprints, they will begin to blur. Nice slow breath. Soften. Disappear. Completely relaxing your hands. Nice slow breath. And exhale down from the shoulders into your upper chest, upper back. Deep into these cells and systems and how they function. Nice deep breath. Coming down into the core, the very core of your being. Just relaxing into the center. And drifting down now to the lower belly, lower back. Deep into these cells and systems, you relax. it drift down through your legs, behind the knees. Relax behind the knees. A lot of energy is held here. Nice slow breath. As you continue down through the lower leg and into the ankles. Relaxing into your ankles. Into the tops of your feet. And even drifting into the soles of the feet, the arches and heels. Relax. Nice slow breath. And in your next breath, you're going to come to an inner light in your heart. In this light, you may see, feel, or just know. It is creating a spiral. See, feel, or just know. The spiral expands, and the slower you breathe, the slower your spiral. And we allow this vibration to expand through us, through every cell. Your breath so important. Wherever you are with it, slow it down a little more, because you can. And let your awareness come from the heart. Breathe up behind your eyes, connecting to this spiral. Allowing this spiral to expand. See, feel, or know the spiral expands, and its vibration deep behind your eyes, all through you. Above, around, and below you. It's letting you align to this divine light. Just come back down to your heart. Slow breath. And exhale down to the center, very core of your being, center torso, to this spiral. Letting this spiral expand. And its vibration through you, around you, above and below you. You allow this divine power to flow freely through you. You allow this vibration, waves of light or energy, just to expand all through your atmospheres, to all experiences you have been in. Allowing this vibration to be with you and around you in this very moment. Just allow this vibration to go out before you, aligning you with all divine possibilities and divine opportunities to be one with your spirit, creative, expressing from your most divine and sacred and natural space, and with your personality, allowing you to express freely, creatively and lovingly in all relationships, choices that you have. We allow this to wrap around each and every one of us for being here. Sending gratitude to all of you. I'm grateful for you. Grateful for those who will be listening through our technology. And just take a nice slow breath. Be aware of the slowness of your thoughts from when you began. maybe the peace through your body. Just bring your awareness back to your breath. A nice deep breath. Letting your awareness flow over your shoulders and down through your arms, into your hands and into your fingertips. The lines of your fingerprints coming back. Touching them gently if you like, to allow your physical senses to come back completely. Just be aware of the soles of your feet. Breathe straight up, right through your crown, back into the room where your journey began. May you take with you this divine love and intelligence and allow it to be there for you in all you do. When you are ready, you may open your eyes. There is no hurry. So now you have all officially meditated. Unless anyone has any questions about meditation, you're smiling. Let's smile. How do it feel? Did you notice a difference in not putting you on the spot? I love that little show of smiles over there and hand holding. That was cute. Everybody's got a smile on their face now. See? Meditation is a very natural act. It raises your frequency, helps your nervous system and immune system be stronger. So that says a lot. Helps your coping skills, allows you to be connected to who you are creatively, so it's not a struggle. It becomes more of a choice or free will, which many of us hear that term used in a lot of teachings. So, anything you want to ask or share? Or? No, that's all right. Did you notice your thoughts slow down, though, when you meditate, like from where we were in the beginning to now? They slow down, because that's what meditation is, mediation. So you don't try to stop thinking, because we don't want to do that, We got to think. We got to think, we got to feel, you got to allow that. And hopefully that you take with you tonight is, does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
How do you meditate without falling asleep?
That's okay, because when you do, you're actually allowing those vibrations to go into your subconscious, which 85% of our law of attraction is subconscious. We got a lot of stuff down there. Well, we just cleared some out, so some probably went up in bubbles, and I don't know, whatever way it happened. But so it's okay to actually fall asleep. I always play one every night before I go to sleep. One of the inner light meditations, so it goes down there and does some work for you, and you will wake up feeling better. But that 5 minutes in the morning, and you guys, right on my website, it's right there. The meditation corner. There's ones you can just read. There's one you can download and listen to, and I'll gladly add one. If you need one, just shoot me an email. I'll send you one. That's for the group here, by the way. Okay, it's on YouTube. No, I'm kidding. I'd help you too. So it's okay. Allow it, and also even allow it if it's a busy mind. When you're in meditation, your energy system is still getting the benefits. And meditation is a practice. I've been doing it for 20 years. I've probably been doing it for 15 years every day. And now, due to the demand in my schedule and what I work with, it's probably 2 or 3 times a day where I just go in. Just start the breathe, just like you experienced. There's nothing different. And sometimes I have busy thoughts. I always say use the balloons for the busy thoughts. Put it in a balloon, let them go, let them go, let them go. And then, just keep your breathing. And those are some really strong tips that'll help you. And on the website, it writes it all out too. So, does anybody else have any questions? Any thoughts you want to put up? Okay. I thank you all for participating, and I thank you all for listening. And remember to go on over to the website, Beth Lynch. Oh no, wrong website. InnerLightTeaching.com. I'm Beth Lynch. The website is InnerLightTeaching.com. Go on over and enjoy some meditation time.